Today, the Supreme Court partially lifted Trump's travel ban against six majority Muslim countries. Now, one will immediately say to yourself, what are you talking about? Partially lift? And I'm going to elaborate. Now, under their allowance of its certain aspects, people who are not permitted are those whom, and this is kind of where things get a little murky, cannot specify a bona fide relationship with a person or entity already in the United States. So I'm guessing people who don't have ties here basically are the ones who are still banned. But if you are, I don't know, somebody's uncle or you work for some company that's over here, then there's case to make for why you should come along. Now, there's apparently going to be another look into this case or into the investigation into the legality of this proposal by Trump. I think in October, they said. And it is so irritating to listen to all of these pundits on the left who will say, this is a Muslim ban. This is a Muslim ban. Say six Muslim majority countries. Well, let's remember that during the campaign, Trump stated that he would, or rather wanted to enact a Muslim ban after, I believe, the Paris attacks. It was in November of 2015 in which he first introduced this idea. And what has had me so behooved since then is we've seen him up close and personal really tone down his rhetoric to the point where he said that this was more having to do with these specific areas that we tend to get terrorists out of. And look, I'm not trying to say this is something I would have done or something I agree with. I don't. But when you ask me, well, what would you have done in place, I'm kind of left to draw a blank because I can't really hypothesize what my direct action would be other than I wouldn't do this, just because we have to ban a country from people from certain areas. I just feel as if that's still a discriminatory act, but you still you have some leeway to play with here. So even if we can't say, okay, well, this is a Muslim ban, this is definitely a ban on this area, there's no ifs, ands about that. But that seems to be the talking point that a lot of people are using who are opposed to this. And you're getting what this reminds me of the immigration laws we had for a while, where I think it was Dreamers, or there was some name for it, where they would allow family members or give special treatment to undocumented immigrants that were related to someone that was already here. And I always just have this feeling of, why does it have to be if you already have ties here? Because this is a nation of immigrants. So we're all going to at some point be the first generation coming over here and not have, our brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and grandparents already stationed here. And it sucks that the people who are in charge of our policies can't seem to recognize that. So now we wait and we'll see whether or not there is an actual, I guess, completion of this, because we're only getting a percentage, a solid maybe 40-50% of what is entirely intended. And it's not something I'm looking forward to, because if it gets banned again, Trump's going to get on Twitter and say, oh, well, see, I knew they weren't serious about this, they have blood on their hands. Then if it gets accepted, you'll have some Democrats, liberals, the likes, come out of the woodworks and go, oh, well, don't be surprised when you have more terrorist attacks after this. You really can't win when it comes to most policies. There are a few things that most of us will agree on, but we just need, like, we can all agree on, okay, well, it's bad that we have these invaders who are here to kill us. We'll all say, oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah, give him a medal. But there starts to form this disagreement when we talk about how to deal with it. Because nobody seems willing to just say, this is a problem. We need to fix this, and we're going to fix it by doing this. It's always the way in which something is done that people will tend to disagree with on most things. We can all say, we're going to do our homework. And I say, oh, you're going to do your homework, not listen to anything. I'm going to listen to music while I do my homework. And, you know, there will be the agreement that, yes, we need to get our work done. But someone will say, no, you shouldn't listen to anything while you're doing your homework. That's ridiculous. And then the person who is not listening to it will think that their way is entirely correct and any other way is just horribly offensive. Going back to this, I don't think if I'm remembering correctly, this is the first instance that the Supreme Court has had as it pertains to actually influencing policy since this administration began, because both of the other times the travel ban was blocked, it was by that whole what was it that the as Attorney General Sessions said, that judge on some island in the Pacific, the Hawaiian judge that blocked it initially, and then there was another one that was opposed to it. So yeah, we're gonna find out more things. It's a little too early to tell. I am on the fence about this. I really just would hope that, at the very least, if I am to be sorely mistaken about, because I personally don't agree with this. I've said that many times in the past. If my viewpoint is one that will be regarded in history as, some incorrect thing on my part, when it, we come back 40 years later and, oh, look, it was effective. I don't feel bad because I had my reasons and my motives.